Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay? I'm back at it again, man. And boy, oh boy, do we have some things to talk about today. All right? The New York Jets have brought in some offensive coordinators, or some potential offensive coordinator candidates, So they're continuing to interview, casting that wide net. We're also going to be talking about the rumors that are swirling surrounding Aaron Rodgers and, the Jets. A lot of people talking about the Jets being extremely interested and we're QB hungry. Peter King has made some discussions. Also going to be talking about as well a report. Elijah Moore went off on Mike LaFleur. We got a little bit more of a, look into that situation. One of our beat writers, Rosenblatt, wrote about that as well, and also spoke about it too on different platforms as well. So we're going to be talking about that tonight too. We have a lot to cover. Okay, I'm talking about a lot to cover. So listen, let me go ahead and get into the show. Look, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Want to shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on iTunes as well, folks. All right? Go on over to iTunes. Search, okay, The Long Beach Joe Show. The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes. Okay, go ahead and follow, subscribe to the show on there, and leave me a 5-star rating, man. Leave me a 5-star rating. I love hearing about what you folks do. Leave me some feedback on there as well. That always helps your boy out, So leave me some feedback. Let me know how you folks think about what I'm doing over here with the show as well. I want to thank everybody that's already done that too. I truly appreciate it. Your boy is also, on social media as well. Go on over to Twitter. Okay, at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay, go on over there, follow the show's page, or I'll follow you right back. Let's go back and forth. I'm also on Facebook as well. Okay, again, The Long Beach Joe Show on Facebook. Okay, we're also on YouTube too. For those of you that don't know, that just listen to the content, thank you for that. But there's also people that go that extra step. And they come on over to YouTube. You go on over to YouTube, type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right? You go on over there, and then guess what? They be like, Joe, you go live, you do the show live. Salutes to all the savages in the chat as well. Venom G's, all my other guys in there. Salutes to him. Salutes to everyone else. And you guys go back and forth. You have such a good time. I say, yeah. And then they also say, hey, Joe, you look good too. We didn't know you were so handsome. We love the voice. We love the takes. We love everything else. But, man, the live show, the audience, and then we got you. And, man, what's going on? And I say, hey, look, I try to be the total package or close to it. I'm not an arrogant guy. I'm just working with what I got. But thank you for that. And, I want to thank everybody that joins me on YouTube. Again, come on over, Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know, all right? So salutes to everybody. Listen, we have a lot to get into, okay, a lot to get into. First, we're going to start with the New York Jets search for an offensive coordinator. It's continuing, all right? We've had multiple candidates in, as we all know, Kevin Patullo, and, we tried to request Darrell Bevel, but, he declined it. There's other guys that we've brought in as well, Brad Johnson. There's a list of names. Well, there's more that are currently, or there was more that currently, happened as well. We did request for Bill Callahan, who's currently the Browns offensive line coach. He was, a former Raiders head coach as well. He was also their coordinator before, too, for about 4 years before he became the head coach. Went to a Super Bowl with them as well. He did really good things there. 2000, he led the league in rushing there. 2002, they led the league in passing with the Raiders. He was also, a head coach in Nebraska as well. Went down to the college ranks 03 to 07. He was also with the New York Jets, too. Some of y'all remember him from that as well. 08 to 011, he was the Jets offensive line coach and the assistant head coach. Those were the Rex years, Those are the Rex years. All right, 2 AFC championships in that time. 2009, the Jets led the league in rushing. So we were trying to get him in the building. Sent out a request to interview him. He declined it, and he also signed an extension with the Browns to continue to be on their staff. So he's going to be there. So it sucks. This is a guy that definitely has a quite a long resume, as we all know here in the NFL, and we've seen him do it on multiple levels. And again, he's been to a Super Bowl, but he decided to stick with the Browns. And as we talked about, you got to wonder, how tough is it going to be to fill this job? Because a lot of people, like myself, want that veteran mind in there, want that veteran play caller. But when you look at all the things that are swirling that makes the Jets' job as an offensive coordinator so uncertain, whether we talk about, the conundrum at quarterback, who could it be? Then you talk about, hey, if you come in here, you got to, have a plan ready to fix Zach Wilson. Could that be a deterrent? Also, could job security be a deterrent as well? We've heard that Woody Johnson say, hey, I'm not really worried about that. It's not a playoff mandate. You got to wonder, is Woody Johnson really telling the truth? I don't think anybody thinks that, okay? So you got to think, hey, you got to come in. You got to get your offensive system into place immediately. You got to figure out how to fix this quarterback. You got to wonder who they're going to bring in at quarterback because, again, they said they were going to attack that quarterback market. And then you look around and you're like, if I can't get all of this done and have my offense humming within the first year, I could be on my butt, out the door in a second, along with Sulla and, the rest of the guys that are here. And some people, and we'll talk about this tonight, some people think the Jets don't make the playoff next year, we should move on from Joe Douglas. There have been some Jets fans that I've gone back and forth with that have said that. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you what others have said. So he declined again and stuck with the Browns, but we were able to bring some guys in. Chad O'Shea, the Browns wide receiver coach, was the guy we brought in. Now, this is a guy that has an interesting history. He's a Patriots disciple. He's with the Patriots from 2009 to 2018. He was their wide receivers coach. Then in 2019, he went to the Dolphins with Brian Flores to be their offensive coordinator. Now, after one season with the Dolphins, he was fired. And what's kind of weird is the circumstances surrounding his firing. Now, he was in a meeting with Fitzpatrick when he, was called into a meeting with Flores. So he excused himself from the closeout meeting. It was at the end of the season with Fitzpatrick and went in to talk to Flores, and Flores fired him. He went back into the meeting with Fitzpatrick and told Fitzpatrick that he had gotten fired, and Fitzpatrick was shocked. Now, the talk around the locker room from a lot of the players that were there, at that point that he was there, was that they felt like his offensive system was not fit for what they were doing. There was a lot of players that said he tried to run a lot of the plays that the Patriots had ran with the Dolphins, offensive roster, and it just wasn't working. They also said that they felt like his system was extremely complex, and during film study and when it was supposed to be time for teaching and instruction, to feel out players, to let them know, hey, this is how you do things, to explain to them the system and let them know how it works and understand their role within it. They said he was not very good at that. And that's a lot of red flags, okay? That set off a lot of red flags because if you look here again, we're trying to figure things out here offensively. We got Zach Wilson. If you don't understand, first off, if your scheme is too complex, which is what we just got, done with dealing with Mike LaFleur, a lot of the players, according to Rosenblatt's article, a lot of players felt like, that the system was needlessly complicated with LaFleur. Well, if it's needlessly complicated with LaFleur, can you imagine how complex this system is going to be that's coming in? And then when you do a poor job of teaching players how things are supposed to work within the system and teaching them where they're supposed to be in their cues and all those things, if you're not really good at conveying your system and simplifying it enough so that people can understand, those are a lot of red flags too, especially when you're talking about building Zach Wilson, okay, who's already going to have a tough time going into a system that's even more complex than the Shanahan system, right? So when you look at this situation, you got to wonder. And you also got to wonder about the rest of the locker room as well. Can he get guys involved? Can he help other guys understand the system easily as well so you can get clicking and humming easy? Because we need to do that immediately this year. So if the system is that complex where it's tough, boy, oh boy, there's going to be some situations. So we brought Chad O'Shea in. Hopefully he's learned from those situations that, he went through with the Dolphins, and he'll, get a clean slate. But he's a guy that does have play calling history, so that's big as well. Joe Brady was a guy that we requested as well. Now, Joe Brady currently is the Bills QB coach, which bodes well here again. We're a guy that's trying to find somebody to fix Zach Wilson. In 2020, he was the Panthers offensive coordinator. He was fired in the middle of the second season because the offense just, wasn't doing what it felt like they should be doing. Again, Matt Rule got rid of him. Now, keep in mind, man, okay, they had some injuries. McCaffrey went down. There were some things going on. But Joe Brady at one point was a guy that a lot of people were looking at and thinking, hey, he could be a head coach somewhere. I remember he was the hot name. And one of the things that really, got him clicking and rolling as far as on this NFL level was what he was able to do in college. This was one of the guys that helped Joe Burrow get that, number one pick in the draft. They were the guys that kind of built him. In 2019, they put together one of the greatest offenses in college football history there at LSU. And he was one of the guys that was in the room that really helped mastermind that situation. So, he's done some things in the league. He's put some things together. So he's a guy that the Jets are looking at, possibly becoming an offensive coordinator here. And we also interviewed Clint Kubiak as well. Now, Clint Kubiak, in case you don't know that Kubiak name, all right, listen, I talked about it. I want Gary Kubiak, okay? That's who I want to be the Jets offensive coordinator. This is actually his son. Clint Kubiak, was with the Broncos. He was a passing game coordinator for the Broncos. He was also their QB coach, last season as well. He called plays under Nathaniel Hackett, and again, we know how that ended. They ended up clearing out the staff there. But for a few games, he called plays. He was also the Vikings offensive coordinator in 2021. So, again, here's a guy that has a background in helping QBs, being a QB coach, and he also is a guy that's called plays before. So he might be able to come in here and get some things done. So we're going to be discussing that as well, wondering what you folks think about that. And also, let me tell you something. There's rumors swirling about Aaron Rodgers here. A lot of people talking about the Jets possibly moving forward and making a trade for Aaron Rodgers. Let me tell you, this guy, he's serious business, but you got to wonder. Peter King came out today and talked about it. A lot of people wondered if it was possible, and he immediately started talking about Aaron Rodgers' cap numbers. He said, well, consider that Aaron Rodgers' cap numbers in the next 2 years would be $48.3 million combined. It's manageable, And as for the compensation, a lot of people are wondering what the New York Jets would have to give up to Green Bay to get Aaron Rodgers. And I've talked about this before. I said at least 2 first-round picks, maybe more, and Peter King agreed as well. He said the Packers are pretty much looking for 2 first-round picks. And he also went on to speak about how the Jets are, very desperately looking for a quarterback. As we know, Woody Johnson has come out this offseason as well and talked about how he's willing to spend big. Sulla has talked about attacking the quarterback market and, making sure that they do what they need to do to address that situation. Of course, he deferred to Joe Douglas, but we all know that if Joe Douglas wants to get something done, we've seen him go out there and do what it takes. We saw him chase after Tyreek Hill. We were in the running. We've seen him go after other guys. So a lot of people are looking at Aaron Rodgers, as possibly being the next New York Jets starting quarterback here. Even Joe Namath came out and said that if Aaron Rodgers is a Jet, he'll unretire that numbers to allow Aaron Rodgers to wear it. Wow. That's big. And there's more reports coming out as well, from people that are in the know within that Packers organization, that the Packers want to trade him outside of the NFC, and they're willing to deal exclusively with teams from the AFC. That bodes well for us. That bodes well for us, all right? We're in that AFC East. So we're going to be discussing that. Quite a cap hit again. Aaron Rodgers, 40 years old as well. Peter King says $48 million. Depending on who you listen to, depends on the numbers. Ian Rappaport said $60 million. So we'll see what's going on with that. But it's going to be a hefty price tag to bring him in the building. At least 2 first-round picks. That's probably just the starting talks, right? But when you look back at other quarterbacks, older quarterbacks that have been traded, Matthew Stafford at 32 years old was traded for 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. And the Rams were able to get Stafford, and the Lions got all that capital. So we're gonna have to pony up. All right. So we're gonna get to the lines in just a second. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Keep in mind when you call in, I want to be able to hear you. Make sure your phone's good. No crazy background noise, all right? Also, as well, the Pro Football Writers Awards have come out. Sauce Gardner has been voted to the Pro Football Writers All-NFL team, along with Quentin Williams as well. Salute to both of those guys. Justin Hardy has made the Pro Football Writers All-AFC team as well, all right? Sauce Gardner also was named the NFL Rookie of the Year and NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year by the same Pro Football Writers Awards. And Garrett Wilson as well won the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. So those guys are doing things, man. The Jets also re-signed safety Will Parks to a 1-year deal. So we're going to get to these lines. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers again, wherever you're watching me from. All right. Also, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the stream as well. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. I could go on all night about these Jets. We're doing a lot of different things here. We're trying to change things up. We got to find a quarterback. So the first caller I'm going to go to here, I'm going to go to my guy, Rusty. Rusty, we're coming directly to you. I need to hear from Rusty, man. Rusty calling in early. Salutes to you, Rusty. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, for those of you that do not know, this man, Rusty, he's a savage. Rusty, salute, man. There's so much on the table, man. Listen, we need to start off right off the bat. We brought some guys in. What are your thoughts about some of the guys that we've interviewed so far, this coaching situation? Do you have a favorite? Is there a front runner in your mind to become the Jets' next offensive coordinator? Who's the guy you want?
I'd want Shane Stechbeck or Steckbank, the guy who is the offensive coordinator for the Eagles. That's who I'd want personally, Shane. But other than that, I mean, that's a hope and a prayer. But then I guess Reich. I don't like any of the other guys. I really don't. I'm not feeling it, especially with a name like Nathaniel Hackett. You break it down, it's Hack. We already dealt with a Hackenberger. I don't know, man. It's not too good luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate
know.
Nathaniel Hackett.
I wouldn't hate. Not a fan of him.
I wouldn't hate Nathaniel Hackett. I think he could come in here again. He's a head coach. As a head coach, no, thank you, but he's not coming in here to be a head coach. I think he would be a solid offensive play caller here. So I like Hackett. I like some of the other guys that we've looked at as well. Again, if we're going inexperienced guy, no NFL kind of play calling, Brad Johnson is a guy that I would be very interested in, just seeing the work that he's done with Hurts. But when you look at the Jets quarterback situation, this is where I want to go with you, man. Aaron Rodgers is being talked about constantly with the New York Jets. I mean, there are rumors swirling left and right about him. Now, Rusty, listen. If you were the Jets general manager, what is the most that you would be willing to give up for Aaron Rodgers in a trade?
A trade? I mean, I don't even know. I honestly, I don't even want – I wish he was like a free agent in a way. I don't want to give up draft picks this year.
I
don't want to give up the farm.
Happening.
I know it's not happening, but I don't – like then I wouldn't want him because he doesn't want Super Bowls. He wants MVPs. Like
what?
He said it.
What are you talking about?
That.
He's got a Super Bowl, Rusty.
I know that. He's saying that he wants more MVPs. He doesn't say anything about Super Bowls anymore. And I don't know, man, that's MVP, a big price tag, and that's a lot to give up.
Listen, if you're an MVP in this league, that means you're really good, right? That means you're the most valuable player at that. He'd be the most valuable quarterback, right? If he comes in here and has an MVP season, can you please tell me how the Jets don't win a Super Bowl? We got a top defense.
Because Packers didn't win a Super Bowl when he was MVP.
But with the defense that we have, if Zach Wilson, let's say if Zach Wilson was an NFL MVP this year, right? We would have clearly have been in the talks to either be in the Super Bowl or be close, right?
We need a lot closer centers. We need linebackers, safeties. If we give up 2 firsts at bare minimum, that's where do you start then? You're already behind the ball. You know what I mean?
I want to play devil's advocate.
Because that's not where it's going to stop because they're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I just meant to say, like for Stafford and stuff, where you said, what they did get, the 2 first, third, and other things. If we gave up this year's, because it's definitely going to be more than 2 firsts. If we give up this year's first, third, next year's first, fourth, that's a huge chunk taken out. That's like Elijah Vera Tucker gone type of person. That's what we did. That's like a Sauce type of person gone. That's like a Breece Hall type of person gone. I don't know. We need offensive linemen, linebackers, safeties.
So let me
that's what I mean. And I would rather have DTR or Max Dugan. Honestly.
Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? Because I hear this, and I hear your argument. But the question becomes, okay, if you can get a guy that is a Hall of Famer, legitimately he is, and he's still elite. It's not like Aaron Rodgers has fallen off some crazy cliff. No, he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I understand that the New York Jets have deficiencies in certain areas. Every team does. No one is indestructible. No one is just there's something wrong with every single team, right? We all talked about the Bills being a Super Bowl contender. They're not even in the playoffs anymore, right? We saw them.
Well, that's just the Buffalo miserables. That's just in their nature.
Yeah. But every team has deficiencies. But here's the deal. You bring in Aaron Rodgers. You talked about offensive line. We need to address that. Guess what? The deficiencies offensively will become minimal because of how good he's going to be, right? When you look at other teams and they have their quarterbacks go down, hold on a second, Rusty. When you look at other teams,
I know. I pulled the break.
You see their quarterbacks going down, right? When you see their quarterbacks go down, guess what? You start to see the deficiencies on the team. You start to see them need to lean on other things more. Aaron Rodgers is getting the ball so quickly out of his hands that it won't matter. Now, keep in mind, it's not like we're going to be blowing out whole drafts. That's not what's going to happen. We'll probably, again, I talked about it. I think we'll probably give up something close, or most teams that are vying for your services are going to probably have to give up 2 first-round picks, if not 3. But if you give up 2, you're definitely going to be giving up some change, some other picks as well. Now, that puts a greater, bear of responsibility on Joe Douglas to hit on those other picks in the mid-rounds at second on down, which we've seen him do, to continue to build this roster, right? ATV is going to be coming back healthy. Beckton's going to be coming back healthy. We'll see what they'll be able to do, on other spots as well. We need another tackle. We've seen the other side. Again, Tomlinson is going to be our left guard, so we're solid there. So more than likely, we're going to need to address the tackle position and center position, right? Well, guess what?
Yep.
You can do all those things with the picks that you have left. The elite quarterback play that you're going to get from Aaron Rodgers, your offense is going to be booming. You're going to be booming.
Yeah, that's if he could stand up.
You had Aaron Rodgers.
You need those
defensive linemen. The Jets are in the playoffs for sure. The Jets are in the playoffs for sure if we have Aaron Rodgers this year. The Jets are going far in the playoffs. And that helps everything else. Elite. Look at how long we've been searching for a quarterback. Think about it.
Forever.
You want me to? I can.
Oh, that's honest.
We can go down, forever. Yeah. We can go down the name, right? Geno Smith, Bryce Petty, Sam Darnold, Christian Hackenberg. We can keep going on. The list of bodies that have come here and been gone, right? At one point we had Tebow.
That's true.
So it's like, okay,
God
when
couldn't
are you
even
going
help
to
us.
get that
I know.
elite quarterback play? Yeah, when are you going to get that elite quarterback play? When? Because, hell, we can throw Zach Wilson in that pile too because he has done nothing. Everybody, most Jets fans, I haven't closed the door on him, I want to be clear, but most Jets fans already consider him a bust. So why are we not talking about trading capital for Aaron Rodgers when he's the key that will help us unlock the door?
If that's the case, I'd want to lessen the blow, and I'd take more with him. I'd be like, see you later, bro. Get out of here. Go and get. Like, I've had it with more, too. Honest to God. And it's not even just, like, just being an idiot, cursing at the coach and stuff like that, which shouldn't even be tolerated. But his IQ in crucial situations. He runs backwards. He can't keep his foot down. He does, like, it's troublesome. Like, it's stupid that how, LaFleur kept him out of the game plans as punishment, but that guy can be a cancer too, man, and I just see it blooming. So, I'd be cool with it.
And that's another situation. But again, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a guy that we need to really start talking about possibly coming here. And if the Jets want to chase after him, I don't want to give up too much, but I'm telling you, I'd be willing to go pretty darn far to get that type of talent in this situation.
There's got to be a limit, though.
Yeah, of course. Listen, Joe Douglas is not going to give up, just any old thing. He's definitely going to attack the right way. But
you can't do that farm to get the horse, So
yeah, but but that's what we need. That's what we need. That's our biggest issue here. Now, as we continue on, Rusty, my final question for you is, man, you look at this situation, right? You talked a little bit about it, about Elijah Moore going off on Mike LaFleur. That happened after the show, and the report came out. Give me your thoughts on that. We saw that blow up, but again, with Rosenblatt being able to come in, we really got to look really into the situation. It was really laid out and communicated to us, very effectively. How do you feel about, Elijah Moore going off on LaFleur and telling him to go, F himself, no cursing on my show, to go F himself, and that he sucked? How'd you feel about it? Also, what are your thoughts about a lot of players believing that his system was needlessly complicated, like Zach Wilson?
Well, his system was needlessly complicated. Mims didn't have to know 58 positions, 18 that didn't exist on the field, just to even play. So that just shows you that it's ridiculous. I don't blame him for saying it, but at the same time, kick rocks, pound salt, I'll put it nicely. But at the same time, he can't do it, and it just shows you his character of that person. You bring him aside and you say that you don't do that in front of the whole team and stuff like that. That's and he's done stuff like that similar to his past in Ole Miss. Not to that degree, I don't think, but things could have been kept in-house. But you've heard and seen some things before, how, there's ego temperament gets the better of him. You can't, you're a professional athlete. You can't, in a room full of, a bunch of grown men, you're not going to, if LaFleur had any balls whatsoever, I would have grabbed him more than what? You know what I mean? They would have had I guess that's why I'm not a coach or in the NFL, but, you don't do that sort of thing. If you bring somebody in to, bring them aside, be like, hey, man, you tell them like that, man to man, straight up. I guarantee you things would be different, but you can't do that in front of, a whole team. I'm surprised Saleh didn't do it. Maybe Saleh wasn't there, but, Saleh would pick him up like a toothpick, Just what are you doing, kid? I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. And just between that and just his overall play, on the field, with his lack of IQ and situations that's necessary, I'd be like, you know what, best of luck to you somewhere else, and I hope we can get the most for you, honestly.
Well,
wide receivers are dime a dozen.
I don't know about that. We've struggled to get wide receivers here too. I don't want to see Elijah Moore gone again. I think there was a lot of people frustrated, and as the season continued to play out, we saw the offense become frustrated again with Zach Wilson's lack of execution as well. We saw
that's
Garrett
understandable,
Wilson
but
frustrated.
that's on LaFleur.
Yeah.
I fully agree that's on LaFleur, but
yeah. So I got to slide off, Rusty. We got other callers. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, my friend.
You too, man. Salutes, Joe. Have a good one.
Right. Salutes, man. Salutes to everybody. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is number. Call in. Again, when you call in, please be patient. We want to get to everybody, all right? But we'll make sure we get to everybody. Also, please make sure your phone line's good. I want to be able to hear you. All right, and there's no cursing on my show. I know people get frustrated, but no cursing on my show because I get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Fast when we got Mike LaFleur out of here. That was fast. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I am going to my guy, Ted. Ted, we're coming directly to you. Phenom, Steve, other callers as well. Hold on. We'll get to you in a second. Salutes to you, Ted. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, that man, Ted, he's a savage.
Good evening, Joe.
Damn, Ted. Salutes, Ted. Listen, we're talking it all. We're talking about it all, Ted. We're talking Jets bringing in, offensive coordinator candidates. You got, the report coming out with Elijah Moore going off on Mike LaFleur, and we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, Ted. Listen, rumors are swirling, man. They're swirling that the Jets are going to be one of the teams that's going to be all in on Aaron Rodgers, that they love him. They're desperately looking for a quarterback, as you and I both know. What are your thoughts, man? If you're the Jets general manager, if you're Joe Douglas for the day, you got to trade for Aaron Rodgers. What is the most you'd be willing to give up for him?
Good evening, Joe. When you brought up the Stafford trade, Stafford was 32. They did give up quite a few first-rounders and additional picks. In all honesty, I would go first and a third. I wouldn't give up 2 first-rounders for Rodgers for a 2-year rental. And the 2024 first-rounder could be a top 10 pick. I know Rodgers is Rodgers. I would be happy with Carr and other pieces that you could add. The one thing that I can see about Rodgers, though, is he would bring other players that would want to play. Maybe from the Packers or other teams that want to chase a ring, which could help us.
Okay.
I just can't go 2 first-rounders, Joe. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why we can't go 2 first-rounders? I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You're getting elite quarterback play. Again, I just brought up the Matthew Stafford trade, 2 first-rounders, a third, and he got some first-rounders, a third, and Goff as well was thrown into the deal, right? So why am I not going to give up 2 first-rounders for an elite Hall of Fame quarterback that's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league that immediately comes in and legitimizes my QB position? Why? Why am I not doing
I understand. Yeah, I understand, Joe, because he's 39, and he still has skills. And I agree with Rusty previously, some of his points, especially we do need pieces that we don't have. Our offensive line is unsettled. I know we have additional picks and all that. Our offensive line is unsettled. We need some safeties. Have to sign Quinnen. I don't know, Joe. Maybe we're just gun-shy as Jet fans to really go for the gusto. And, there's a price you have to pay to get somebody like Rodgers, but I just think two firsts is steep. And I don't know who else is going to pay. The Dolphins can't afford 2 firsts probably. They just got Tyreek Hill in a trade. I don't know what other AFC team could. Maybe the Titans. Maybe they could get him. That's maybe the only other team I can see in the AFC. I don't know, Joe. I'm a build through the draft guy, and I would be happy with Derek Carr and some other pieces, and still add through the draft. But I get it.
Okay. Look, I hear that, and again, I'm a guy that is like Derek Carr as well. I've talked about it, but if we're just talking about 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers, look, I get it. 2 first-round picks, we value draft capital, but we have literally been looking for a quarterback for I don't know how long, man. And this is getting old.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure
This is getting old. All right. We every single year we come out of the season going, okay, we don't know if we have a quarterback. There was flashes first year with Sam. Oh my God, and we don't know, right? We don't do enough around him. He ends up falling off. Now those flashes, okay, hopefully next year's the next step for Zach Wilson. We just never have the quarterback. All right. And I'm tired of it. Yeah. I understand building through the draft, and look, I get it. And I'm playing devil's advocate here. I get build through the draft, blah, 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 right? Look, if you can't build it, then you buy it, all right? I tell people that all the time. Stuff that I don't know how to build, I go to the store and I buy it, all right? That's what I do. I don't know how to build lamps. That's why I go buy them, all right? I'm tired of that. I want elite quarterback play. I want somebody that's going to come in here, command respect from the quarterback position, right? Put us in positions, not kill us every single week, and lift the team when necessary. And Aaron Rodgers can do every single one of those things, all right? Every single one, all right? Look, I get it. We need better safeties. Okay, I mean, Whitehead is solid, right? He's okay. I know Jets fans want to cut him. They want to cut everybody, okay? But guess what? When you get quarterbacks that can come in, it's the truth. They want to cut everybody. People that talk about cutting everybody every offseason. All right, get rid of Whitehead. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of that guy. Well, you got to replace them. Guess what? You get a quarterback in here that can put up points, and a lot of these deficiencies go away. Okay? You won't have to worry about the safety play and all this stuff. Our defense was top 5. I think we were ranked 4th overall in the league. 4th overall.
Right.
Why are we talking about, say, linebacker play? Okay, yes, C.J. Moses is going to come back. For those of you that don't know, we've seen the accolades from him this offseason. He's done a lot of great things. Like, look, we need a quarterback. If we had a quarterback this season, we'd be in the playoffs. A lot of people have talked about it. If the New York Jets had just anything better than what we had, right, outside of Mike White with his injuries going back, we'd be somewhere. Why are we passing up on Aaron Rodgers? Why do so many Jets fans want to turn the back on Aaron Rodgers and not get this guy? I don't understand it. And, again, I get the first-round picks, but that is a drop in the bucket for elite talent. And we have, right, what we all believe is the best general manager in all of football. Look at how great his drafts have been deep, right? We've been able to get a guy like Elijah Moore who's extremely talented. That's a second-round pick. We got Breece Hall, who looked out of this world before the injury. He's a second-round pick. That just puts more pressure on him to hit in those mid-rounds, but he'll be able to do that, especially at the offensive line position. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I had a thought, Joe. I don't know if I agree with my thought even, but I'm going to throw it out to you. Would you trade Quinn in straight up for Aaron Rodgers? Not that I agree with it, but he's probably worth 2 first-rounders.
No, I don't think that. I don't think they take that, and I don't think they would take that. And I think that would be, and I've heard Jets fans talk about that too. Well, let's get rid of Quinn Williams. Why are we getting rid of an All-Pro? Why are we doing that? Why are we getting rid of an All-Pro that makes an impact, right? That he doesn't play it. He plays great for us.
I love Quinn,
right?
though. I do love him.
He's our sack leader, right? We all talk about it. He's the guy that gets after it. When we played the Lions and he wasn't playing, you saw the stark difference along the defensive line. There was no disruption. There wasn't a guy causing the chaos, so everybody was eating off that. Why are we getting rid of Quinn Williams? We don't have to do that. All right? When you draft, especially when you draft a guy and take him that high, you hope that whatever defensive lineman you draft turns out to be Quinn Williams. So if we got Quinn Williams, let's do. Why are we getting rid of him? Why don't we just add? Why are we subtracting? Why don't we just add instead of subtracting? Why don't we just add Aaron Rodgers to the roster? You know, that's my.
I did say I don't necessarily agree with my thought, but let me say this, Joe. The Lions did win the Matt Stafford trade. I mean, Matt Stafford did win the Super Bowl, but the Lions are gonna. The Lions are set up. The Lions are set up, and Goff is a very good quarterback. I would say maybe in the top 15 somewhere, and they have a lot of talent and a heck of a coach. That team's on the rise, and they got a lot of picks, were able to rebuild, and Goff was a throw-in, and it happened to be that the Rams, I think, general manager went to the Lions and actually liked Goff. So, Joe, I understand we are Jet fans. We haven't won. But maybe for a 39-year-old quarterback, I just don't want to spend the 2 ones, and that's I get it. I get the other end of the spectrum. I'd be happy with Carr and, maybe trading for DeAndre Hopkins or some other pieces that we can add, get rid of Mr. Corey Holding Penalty Davis, Paul Starting Corey Davis, Hands of Stone Corey Davis. I mean, that kind of thing we can upgrade, That's what we need, Joe. We need to take Corey Davis and, upgrade that certain You know what we should do, Joe? If you want to get Rodgers, bring in Lazard with him. Somebody he's familiar with, and get rid of Corey.
Yeah,
but only for a first and a third.
Now we continue on. My next question for you started talking about the wide receiver position. We saw reports come out about Elijah Moore. In that heated exchange, we got more of a look into the situation from Rosenblatt, the Jets beat writers, about how Elijah Moore went off on LaFleur, told him off during practice.
I don't have a problem with it, Joe.
Go ahead, give me your thoughts.
I don't have a problem.
Why don't you have a problem with it
at all? Because let me say this, Joe. Trevor Lawrence came out and said, I know it's Trevor Lawrence, he's your first pick and everything. Trevor Lawrence came out and said that Doug Peterson designed the offense around him. I bet you LaFleur is such an a-hole that he came in with his, sorry, Joe, came in with his, I didn't curse, came in with his,
you didn't curse. Go ahead.
you know, his strict theory and philosophy and ran exactly his playbook. And guess what? It didn't work. And these are guys' livelihoods, Joe. Elijah Morris probably saw his not production and say, man, my career is going to blow up with this guy. You know, it's costing him money. You know, these guys have to be paid. I mean, these guys don't go in the NFL for, you know, I know a lot of them love the game, but they want to make a living out of it. You know, and if you're not getting utilized what you feel is proper in the offense, I would say, and LaFleur is maybe stubborn enough to keep doing what he did and run left on first down and, you know, Zach Wilson, no rollouts and no bootlegs. I mean, I would be like, what the heck are we doing in this offense, dude? You know, I wouldn't be happy, you know, and I'm just a watcher of the game. Never played it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I hear you, you know, but the thing was, and again, especially at that time, we were winning. I didn't like the distraction, but we had already heard, you know, Denzel Mims request a trade as well. Then we heard, you know, about Elijah Moore, the way he went off. It was just very interesting to really get a look into, you know, a real look into it as everything kind of unfolded, as Rosenbach kind of painted the picture, even with Zach Wilson, you know, feeling like the system was needlessly complicated. He wasn't the only player on offense that felt that way. There were also reports again swirling. I think Jordan Schultz came out with a report that was, you know, I guess kind of washed away as being inaccurate by our local beat, but he came out and talked about if Zach Wilson's named the starter, the Jets ever again, it's going to be a mutiny and all these things, and how, you know, players, I think there was rumors swirling about C.J. Uzomah talking to Zach Wilson just about, you know, the quarterback play and kind of straightening things up. So, yeah, it was getting a bit weird there, but, you know,
Joe, can I say one thing?
That situation is, it's rough. Go ahead. I'll let you finish up.
Joe, the biggest problem I have is anointing. They anointed Zach Wilson as a starter, and that's comes down to Salah or whoever made the decision because, you know, Zach the Golden Boy is the quarterback, and there's no competition. And obviously he crapped the bed because look at the production. Now, whether it was too complicated by the floor or his work ethic or his talent or his mental state or combination of all of it, I don't know. But it obviously didn't work. So let me say this too, Joe. Mike LaFleur hasn't got a job yet, has he? I guess now everyone.
I haven't heard.
Salah said that, you know, he had other opportunities. So I guess, you know, maybe he meant the CFL. Did the CFL hire him? We didn't know yet. Canadian Football League. USFL starting up too, Joe.
Ted taking
Joe.
Ted taking shots, not me.
Joe. He can be an offensive intern at the USFL level under a real offensive coordinator. How about that one?
Here we go. All right, Ted. Listen, before I let you go, quickly, give me your thoughts about Sauce being named, you know, the NFL Rookie of the Year and NFL Defensive Rookie of the
I didn't know
Defensive Player of the Year
as
well. Yeah, so he was named the NFL Rookie of the Year and NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, by the Pro Writers, you know, awards. Give me your thoughts about that really quickly.
Oh, yeah, Joe. I loved him in Cincinnati. I loved him in the draft, and a lot of people were upset when we drafted a corner, but he never let up a touchdown in college, and he hasn't I don't think he let up a touchdown in the NFL so far. So he's a hardworking kid. He's, you know, he knows he's talented, but he backs it up with hard work. So I love the kid, and just let him keep going and developing and doing his thing. We'll have to pay him eventually, but I would love to see that guy be a Jet forever. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, Ted, I got to slide off. I want to thank you for calling in, man. You have
okay, Joe. You too, Joe. Right. Take care, Joe.
Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Phenom. Phenom, I'm coming directly to you. Phenom Salute, I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, for those of you that do not know Phenom, he's a savage. Phenom, listen, we're talking about it all, man. You already know. I'm going back and forth with people about Aaron Rodgers. I want to get people's thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think Jets fans are so against the idea of trading for Aaron Rodgers? Phenom, where do you stand with this, man?
Oh, man, great show, Joe, as always. I'm not in the camp of Aaron Rodgers. He's a talented player, yes. In theory, could he put us over the top? Yeah. But there's everybody's mentioned this stuff. Areas of need. What is he going to do if we can't protect him? Haven't we seen this show before? Didn't we see this with Brett Favre? Kind of, sort of. Like Brett Favre was a lot more team oriented than Aaron Rodgers, but that's just my thought. Just more of a team guy. More of a team guy. Like Aaron Rodgers is a talented player and has been given the carte blanche to run the show. And he is he so but we would have to protect Aaron Rodgers. And
but that,
we're deficient in the offensive line. We're deficient in the offensive line. In theory.
Hold on a second. When you talk about us being deficient or us having issues along the line, it's not like we don't have the talent. Guys got injured. Okay, guys got injured this year, and I get that, right? But again, they're going to come back healthy next season. Now that was an unfortunate situation. Okay, Becton went down, as we know. He should come back next year and be healthy. We already see that he's in amazing shape. He's lost weight, right? ATV, who's unbelievable, right? He's coming back next year. He should be good to go. You got Tomlinson coming back. There's questions about McGovern, but maybe you keep McGovern as well. He's not the greatest, but he's all right, I guess. I think your biggest question would probably be at whatever tackle spot that Becton's not at. So let's just say left tackle. We keep him at right tackle. Let's just say left tackle, right? You can get a player. You can get a left tackle. You can draft one still. It's not like we're going to trade a whole draft. We're just talking about giving up 2 first-round picks and a little bit more for elite quarterback play. Now, we're talking about protection as well, right? But if you look at Aaron Rodgers, his elite ability, right, wouldn't that mask a lot of our issues and deficiencies, right? The same way that Tom Brady masked a lot of deficiencies with the Patriots. He was getting the ball out of his hands so quickly, you didn't know that their offensive line wasn't the greatest until he left. And you saw guys getting hit and stuff like that. Well, because it's not Tom Brady back there. He's not making the adjustments. He's not reading things because he's not playing for you anymore. If you bring Aaron Rodgers in here, he does all of that for the New York Jets. Listen, even with all the issues that we had along the line, and again, even with our line being as banged up, they protected pretty well most of the year, even though they were banged up. Even I think we were down to like our third or fourth string guards at one point, right? Herbig and all these guys coming in, they were all right, right? There was some games again, the Bills, but they were okay. But guess what? If we would have had Aaron Rodgers this year, the Jets no doubt make the playoffs. If we had Aaron Rodgers this year, we would probably still be playing right now. That probably would still be happening right now, right? So when you look at that, why are we not giving up capital to get elite talent at a position that we have not been able to figure out for I don't know how long? When are we going to get that guy in here? Because we've been trying this whole draft thing, Phenom. We tried it. We tried it with Geno Smith. It didn't work. We tried it with Christian Hackenberg. Didn't work. We tried it with Sam Darnold. Didn't help him at all. Didn't work, right? High in the draft. Didn't work. We tried it with Zach Wilson. So far, it has not worked. So why can't we give up 2 first-round picks to bring in elite talent that not only will lift the football team on the field, but it'll also help Zach Wilson because that's his mentor. That's the guy that can help him so that when he's done in the next 3 years, I'll give him, we can then hand the torch off to Zach Wilson if we feel that he's going to be the right guy, or we can set ourselves up to move on from him. Give me your thoughts, Phenom.
That's a great theory, Joe. That you tied all those bows. I mean, you dotted your I's and crossed all your T's, Joe. It sounds like a thing of beauty. But understand that all that stuff you said was true. I mean, it could possibly be true. But in reality, Mike White took a beating. Mike White took a beating.
He did.
He took a beating.
He did.
And any quarterback moving forward, like I would hope that Mekhi Becton comes back. I'm hoping that AVT will come back. All the things you said in a perfect world, but we know that football, we have to understand that injury is going to happen, and our depth wasn't strong enough. So I don't want to go with a 39-year-old quarterback with a 2-year window that's going to mortgage our future when we're built to win in the near future. What are we in the run for? Does the ownership want this move? Is it the ownership that's pushing for this? Or is it Joe Douglas? You know, like that. It
could be both. I'm being honest with you, Phenom. It could be both. It could be both because Joe Douglas. I'm sorry, Joe Douglas, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm sorry. A lot of people are, dreaming that just because Woody Johnson said there's no playoff mandate. Let's be serious. We know that Woody Johnson, somewhere in his mind, makes knee-jerk moves, and if the Jets come out and don't get it done again, and you can't sell the fan base on buying tickets, he will make a knee-jerk move and fire people. Sulla's job can be on the line. We know that, and tell me if I'm wrong, right? We've seen this before. We've seen him make knee-jerk moves. There was rumors about him wanting to fire Sulla last year. There's already been rumors about Joe Douglas's job being on the line since last year. Please tell me if I'm lying because it's been swirling. If you do not get it done, I can see them getting out of here. So it would behoove Joe Douglas and Sulla, to sit down together and make a move, and figure out who their guy is and make a move and aggressively go after them. We've already heard publicly from Sulla that they want to attack the QB market. Woody Johnson has already come out and literally said, I am willing to spend big, and he never talked like that. I'm willing to spend big. He talked about the QB, the quarterback position, being the missing piece. Give me your final thoughts on that, Phenom.
I don't. I would rather go for Carr. I think we have. Okay. My point of view is we have more needs to fill than the quarterback. Quarterback is important. Don't get me wrong. It's high priority. Mm-hmm. If we can get Carr, Derek Carr, I'm more on those lines. And then we can fill into the rest of those positions, and we still have the youth on our side, and it moves on. But like you said, maybe it's internal pressure from the ownership, but moving forward, LaFleur got signed with the Rams.
I thought something about him moving with the Rams. Yeah, they were talking about that. I didn't know if it was official or not yet.
He's not going to be an SSFL coach. He's not going to be He's not going to be in the Canadian Football League. No, they signed him for a reason. Like I said, this was a young regime. In a perfect world, in my perfect world, all those guys get to grow for 1 or 2 seasons, but that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And so here we go. Am I still excited? Yes. But it's all going to play out, and it's going to be very interesting whichever way it happens. If we get Carr or if we get Aaron Rodgers. So great show, Joe.
Yeah, listen, Phenom, I want to thank you for calling in. I got to slide off 202. Be ready. I'm coming to you. Again, thank you, Phenom. You have yourself a good one, all right?
All right, man.
All right. Listen, we're continuing with the lines. I know they're hot. We'll get to everybody. Conversation's heating up. I want to hear from you. So 202, we're coming directly to you. Everyone be patient. We'll get to everybody. Salutes 202. You're looking like a new caller. Give me your name, where you're from. Give me your thoughts about Aaron Rodgers, being traded to New York Jets, the possibilities. How are you feeling about it? 202. Going once, going twice, 202. All right, we'll come back to you later. We'll come back to you. You missed your time. We're going to keep on rolling. Next, we're going to go to my man, Steve. Steve, we're coming directly to you. Hopefully you're awake this time, Steve, because the last show, you failed it. Salute, Steve. I want to thank you for calling in, man. Give me your thoughts. We're talking Aaron Rodgers. We're talking Jets. We're talking offensive coordinators. What are your thoughts about the possibilities of the New York Jets acquiring Aaron Rodgers? And if you were the Jets general manager, what is the most you'd be willing to give up for him?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show tonight. It's always great to talk to you, talk about the team. You know something, Joe? I think it is a chance that we have to take. You know, it was actually kind of funny. This past Sunday, we just had my niece's baptism, and I was talking to a couple of my cousins who were Jet fans, and we were talking about that it could be a possible rumor of Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets. One of my second cousins said he does not want Aaron Rodgers to come. It's not that because Aaron Rodgers, yes, he does agree that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He just thinks that Aaron Rodgers is past his prime.
Who says that? I mean, he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Oh, and that's fine, and all, you know, I respect everybody, but here's the deal. How are we saying that Aaron Rodgers is past his prime? He's still putting up solid numbers. He's still a good quarterback in this league. He's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I mean, of course, he's not 20-year-old Aaron Rodgers, but he's still darn good. He's still an elite quarterback. Still. Yeah. He's still a guy that can step in here. Aaron Rodgers will step in here and be one of the best quarterbacks the New York Jets have ever had. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Just out the gate.
But
what exactly? If he was past his prime or he was trash, nobody would even be discussing giving up 2 first-round picks for him. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers is that good.
Joe,
go ahead.
You know something, Joe? Now, here's my thought about it. I think if the Jets do have to give up, 2 first-round picks, for this year and for next year in 2024, you know something? With the talent that we have on this team right now, from this past rookie class that we just had, we're about to have a defensive rookie of the year this year, possibly an offensive rookie of the year in Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. You know something, Joe? I think this is a chance that the Jets need to take. Because you made a good point on the show earlier tonight. We have to find a way to play like in the second half of the year because of how so great our defense was this year. We could have been in the playoffs. And the thing is, and for once, as much as Jets fans hate Woody Johnson, for once, Woody Johnson literally finally came out and said that if I'm willing to spend big money on a quarterback this year, I'm going to do this. You want to know why Woody Johnson said this, Joe? I'm going to tell you why Woody Johnson also said this. Woody Johnson realizes how Jet fans have been frustrated for 12 years of not making the playoffs, and I think he's saying deep down himself that he is sick of losing as well as is the whole entire organization. Woody Johnson literally came out and said, I want to win. That's why he's saying, I want to spend big money on a quarterback.
Well, he also wants to put the team in the best position to win, like you said as well. But he's been here the whole time. He's frustrated, I think, at some point of not being able to be, in the playoffs. If you want to get to the playoffs, you have to have a quarterback. He understands that that's the missing piece. That was the glaring issue here with the New York Jets, and it's the reason why we're not in the playoffs. If we had stable quarterback play here, right, we'd be fine. Mike White did give us that for a bit, but again, there were injuries and things like that going on down the stretch as well. We had trouble scoring. If the Jets' offense was just slightly better with a leader that could really prop up the offense, we'd be much better off. And he sees that clearly because this is a championship defense. We have a great defense. We can shut people down. Yeah. We can rush the passer. We can do it all. But our offense is terrible. So we've got to figure things out, right? And then we have offensive talent. We saw Garrett Wilson put up an amazing season, especially as a rookie here. We have Elijah Moore. We have this, but we don't have somebody to throw the football. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this, Steve. We're talking about wide receivers here. What are your thoughts on the reports about Elijah Moore and LaFleur, the guts up they had when he told LaFleur to go F himself? What are your thoughts about that, man?
Listen, I got to be very, very honest with you. It doesn't surprise me of what Elijah Moore did, because the problem was Mike LaFleur, I just felt this past year, did not know how to get the offensive player set. Now I can see their frustration of the reason why, and it's not only Elijah Moore. Zach Wilson said it a few times too, and a few other players said it as well. I know Breece Hall said in his end of the year conference, end of the year season interview that he would love to have Mike LaFleur back. But let me tell you something. I think Mike LaFleur stepping down was probably one of the best decisions of the Jets offense going forward. And unfortunately, Mike LaFleur, why the Jets offense was really, 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 really bad. I mean, now the thing is, Joe, I want to get a chance to talk to you about the offensive coordinator position. I know last week we didn't get enough time.
Go ahead.
Didn't get a chance to talk
no,
about
you
it
were
much
sleeping.
Because,
it's not that I didn't give you.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Which I do.
Don't
apologize.
even try it, Steve. Slow your roll. I gave you more than enough time. You were snoozing. You were asleep at the wheel, Steve. We called you up here and we said we want to hear your takes, and you know what you said to us?
Yeah. Okay.
That's what you were doing.
But
Steve. So give us your takes now, Steve, since you're awake.
Now, the thing is, Joe. Okay, yes, I am fully awake. Thank you. So the thing about the offensive coordinator position, this is my thing about what the Jets need to do at that position. They need to get someone who is very, very well offensive experience. They need to get someone who actually has had this job before in the past. That's why I have a feeling, and I know a lot of Jet fans would not want to get him. But let's say we do end up getting Aaron Rodgers in a trade, if that does magically happen, then I have a feeling the offensive coordinator that we would be bringing in would be Nathaniel Hackett. Now, I know a lot of Jets. If you remember when he was the offensive coordinator for Green Bay for the few years from 2019 to 2021, he was a phenomenal offensive coordinator. He was phenomenal in Green Bay. And Aaron Rodgers knows his system. And if Aaron Rodgers does end up coming here, Nathaniel Hackett, I have a feeling, would be the offensive coordinator that Saleh hires. I mean, Joe, I guess I can ask you now this quick question.
Yeah.
Which is the offensive coordinator besides Nathaniel Hackett, because I know you did say you would be interested in him, who would be the offensive coordinator that you would like the Jets to have?
Again, I've like you said as well, I've talked about Hackett. I've talked about Johnson from the Eagles. They've looked to interview him. If we're talking about a guy with no kind of offensive coordinator or play calling experience, I'd be interested in him as well. There's some other guys. Joe Brady, I'm not against Joe Brady either. I know there's a lot of Jets fans that don't want to have anything to do with him, for whatever reasons, right? But I wouldn't be against Joe Brady either. But I like Gary Kubiak. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see Kubiak brought in as well. So those are the guys But Hackett, I really like him. Again, he's worked with LaFleur as well, who runs the Shanahan system. So, again, he'd be very familiar with what we run currently. I know that they say that they don't care about keeping the scheme. But, man, changing to a new scheme and expecting immediate dividends from that, it's really tough to get. So those are the guys that I really like there.
Yeah, Joe is. And you've said this before so many times. I mean, listen, I do understand from other Jets fans that, yes, during this offseason, we do need to get some help, like, in free agency as well, because obviously there are some positions that the Jets do need to get help with besides the quarterback. I know people were talking about the safety, and, people were talking about, like, linebacker change and even possible changes, But here is another thing about us getting Aaron Rodgers. if you want to get Aaron Rodgers on this team, the Jets are going to have to make some moves to save up some money. Okay, like for an example, I think Corey Davis, he's not going to come back next year. He would save about $10 million. I know some people talked about maybe possibly letting Carl Lawson go. We would save $14 million. You know, I mean, this is going to be some things in the off season that, unfortunately, listen, as much as you love these players, sometimes you got to make these decisions on letting them go. Because number one, it helps you save money.
The thing.
And number two, it helps you. They're valuable players.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that as well, and I think a lot of Jets fans don't think about that. When you're getting rid of players, and again, Corey Davis is a guy that I think you can move on from and be okay. He's often injured, lots of drops. You saw the emergence of Garrett Wilson, who was phenomenal, Elijah Moore, all these things. So he's the guy that you can move on from. But again, when you talk about getting rid of pieces like Carl Lawson and other players, you have to replace those guys with somebody who's talented, right, or more talented. So that puts more of an impact on the draft or grabbing other. Yeah, I mean, people are talking about saving money. There's people saying that you should trade away Quentin Williams so you don't have to pay him. But that's not necessarily a good idea because he's an all-pro. Yeah. So when you look at the situation, there's things that we're going to have to attack and there's things that we're going to have to do. But, you know, we'll see how that shakes out. So, again, we'll get back to these lines. Again, salutes to Steve when we lost them. We're going to get back to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Bill. Bill, I'm coming directly to you. Salutes to you, Bill. You know, Bill's always talking that talk. Listen, Bill, we are talking about it all, okay? We're talking Aaron Rodgers. We're talking Jets offensive coordinator search. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Bill? How are you feeling about the Jets, you know, possibly trading for Rodgers? If you're the Jets general manager, what is the most you'd be willing to give up for him, man?
Thanks for having me, Joe. Appreciate it. And you said it before. Who is our quarterback who is in the caliber of Aaron Rodgers ever, other than Joe Namath? Never had it before. Everybody's freaking out now that we have this opportunity. It's like the fear of success. Okay, he's a little older, but tell me what happened when you saw the Buccaneers get an older quarterback. All right, what happened when you saw the Rams get a guy who's been around for a little bit? So you have to take these chances. You know, this is an opportunity. You have to take it. And this fear about, well, we have to cut guys to make cap room. If you bring in an Aaron Rodgers, that's a sign that we're in it to win it. I think guys are going to be willing to restructure their contracts and do some sort of negotiation to hang around. I don't think guys are going to want to just leave when you get the final piece that they needed for this season to take it to the next level. And Joe, I was looking at the numbers. All right, the team scored at 17 points a game and gave up 19 points a game. So third best defense from point standpoint. We needed a field goal. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. All we need is a field goal and the guy's not to turn the ball over. Okay? So I understand people have a fear of success, but you have an opportunity to get a quarterback in who is not always going to set up for this year, and those guys are saying, oh, he might retire next year. He was trying to get out of Green Bay. That's why he kept talking about retiring. Give him 2 years, and I know you've seen also he's had discussions with Zach Wilson, reached out to him. I don't know what kind of relationship they have, but it couldn't hurt to have someone there working with him. They said we wanted to sit back and watch a veteran. What better veteran are you going to get from the watch? I don't know. So
exactly.
Pull the trigger. Yeah. Whatever the draft picks are, if you have 2 first-rounders, those 2 first-rounders were not the difference between the playoffs in year 1 or year 2. So if you had 2 years, you had these 2 guys that we gave up, they weren't going to take us to the playoffs. We all know that. Mm-hmm. We need a quarterback. We need a guy's experience.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? And Bill, I hear you. All right. But what are your thoughts about the price tag that comes along with him as well? Because there's a lot of Jets fans talking about it. Now, again, it depends on who you listen to, because originally it was $40+ million immediately comes to him on the cap. Ian Rappaport, I believe, talked about $60 million coming. I'm not a capologist, right? I'm not one of those guys who pretends to be a capologist. I know there's all kind of things you can do to finagle. I remember when we worked out some type of concoction with Ryan Fitzpatrick's contract so that he could pay him, even though we didn't necessarily have the money. It was a whole lot of stuff that went on, right? And we've seen the Chiefs and the Saints do all kinds of things to manipulate the cap. So, but what are your thoughts about that price tag and the impact that it could have on acquiring him as well, as far as continuing to build out the football team? Because that's what a lot of Jets fans are saying, that I speak with. They go, well, yeah, the draft capital, but then I got to give up, 40 plus, maybe 60 million. What in the world? What are your thoughts about that, man?
Yeah, there's a salary cap. Okay, so it's like we can't go, like Woody said, he's like, yeah, I'll pay whatever I can do up to the salary cap. If they can work it under the cap, that's their job. So I don't know, all these guys suddenly have PhDs in capology, like you're saying, like they know what the numbers look like. I think everyone pulls up over the cap, and everyone pulls up spot track, and you look at the numbers. But like you said, there's magic. You look at the Saints every year; they're dead in the water. They have cap issues, and then the season starts, they have the same roster. So I think there's a lot of unknowns. If Joe is going to pull the trigger, he obviously isn't going to scuttle the ship. He knows that he's got to make this thing work. And also, after we cagged him, spending every dime to find free agency, Woody's not going to allow that. So the cooler heads are going to prevail. The team will get together. The management team will look at this thing and make it work. If they're going to pull the trigger, they're going to make it work, because these guys don't want to have a job for 2 years. Everyone's talking about playoffs or bust. We'll see if they can kind of get a situation where we show improvement with promise. Obviously, it's going to continue. So, no one wants this thing to blow up. I mean, the fans, we're all passionate. We all want to see winners. But, we have to have faith in the guys who are pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they'll get it done. If they can't get it done, it won't happen. Yeah.
So my final question for you, Bill, because you bring in the heat, there's been a lot of discussion since, the article came out from Zach Rosenblatt, Elijah Moore, and Mike LaFleur's situation. Again, it was kind of swept under the rug, and kind of brushed away. Just kind of, being a little gussed up, and then we really got a real look into it because Zach Rosenblatt and everything that he provided, as far as Elijah Moore telling, Mike LaFleur to F himself, and how he was upset, with him not being a part of the offense, especially after that Packers game, getting no catches. Also, we heard players coming out saying the scheme was needlessly complicated. One of those players, according to the report, was Zach Wilson. What are your thoughts about that as we continue to look for an offensive coordinator? Is there a guy that when you look at him, some of the candidates, is there a guy in that circle where you're looking, you're saying, I don't want to deal with him. He could end up being another guy like LaFleur, and we need to stay away from him?
Yeah, I got it. The whole thing about it being overly complicated, they come in, we talked about every week in terms of just a lot of guys in motion, a lot of things going, a lot of moving parts. So I think the fans could see that was going to be a problem. They hear from the players kind of confirm that. And, I think that was probably what was the tipping point with LaFleur having to go somewhere else to take a look elsewhere. Which is, you can get it. You heard the stories about how it's too complicated for Zach, and he's a smart guy, he studies hard, but they came out and said that this is not an offense that you have a rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback master. So, okay, I'll give him, you give him a break on that. And then for Elijah going off, when you look at that, when you have Zach going just first read, second read run, and Elijah's, the third and fourth receiver, obviously he's going to be mad. So it all makes sense when you think about it that way. And, again, these guys are going to pay millions of dollars. They're going to look at this and say, okay, we made these mistakes. We got to take to the next level. And when they work with the next coordinator and they pick the next guy, then obviously they're going to want someone who is going to come in with flexibility. And I think we talked before about you and I both want someone maybe a little bit more experienced who can adapt. The guy who comes in with a system that he has seen, and he's going to just do that, he's going to run through. That's what happened before. Shanahan system. And it's like, well, if that doesn't work, then what do you do? So I think they want to stay away from that. They want to obviously make sure things are kind of simplified, and that's kind of, you mentioned the O'Shea situation. That was the guy originally I was looking at, thought he might show some promise, but, like you said, that's like the same LaFleur situation in terms of, okay, this is a guy who's just trying to be cute and confuse everyone. So I don't know. I think Hackett maybe. Not Hackett. Guy whose father was originally the guy you wanted to get.
Clint Kubiak? You mean Clint Kubiak?
Yeah, Kubiak. Yep. Yeah,
Gary
now look at him. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, maybe you could look at him. But I'm still waiting to see all the candidates who come out there. A lot of guys out there, man. There are a lot of guys. And I want someone experienced who's going to be flexible. We saw LaFleur was not flexible. Has something that's adaptable. It's like, obviously there's at different levels it's different, but they make things very complicated. Every time you saw Gruden talking about, on QB school, it's always overly complicated. So hopefully we get a guy who comes in, understands how to make things simple for Zach, and can work the team, and that's the guy I want.
Yeah. Facts. On my final question before I let you go, Bill, you've been bringing us some heat. Give me your thoughts about Quinnen Williams being voted to the Pro Football Writers All-NFL team, man. What are your thoughts about that? We've also got some other guys as well. Justin Hardy made the Pro Football Writers AFC team. Sauce Gardner, as we know, got the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Garrett Wilson as well, Offensive Rookie of the Year. What are your thoughts about all those guys, being, congratulated and being given accolades by the Pro Football Writers?
It's incredible. Because when have we ever seen that for this team in our experience? It goes to showing that the GM and the head coach can see talent. They bring these guys in. They drafted Quinn, drafted Sauce. She had Hardy kind of brought in. So it's just from a variety of sources. Now they just have to continue to keep building on that. It shows that the league, it's not the same old Jets. It's going to help with free agents taking a look. This is going to be a stable organization. It's going to help with our perception, just worldwide as a team. And it just goes to show that they got to pay Quinnen now. So hopefully that'll be the crowbar that we could take to the checkbook for Joe Douglas, because he has had alligator arms in the past. So he's going to have to pay up.
Yeah. No, he's definitely going to have to pay up, and hopefully we'll be able to get a deal done, because Quinnen has already come out and talked about how if we don't, he's going to, sit out voluntary, and who knows how long that could go. But, Bill, I want to thank you for calling in.
Look at just sitting out. When you look at what's going on right now with the guy we're not talking about here in terms of, our potential QB out of Baltimore, he's sat out here of injury. He had 2 MVP seasons, and they didn't take care of him. So now they're in a situation where, they went to the playoffs. They look like idiots because they didn't want to pay their guy, and now they have to pay him because he's going to get paid. Lamar's getting paid. Yeah. Everyone talks about him coming. He's not going out. They have to keep him. So they have a franchise tag him, and then if they don't hit him with a big contract, he's going to walk. So you got to pay your guys earlier, sooner than later. So this whole thing about kind of dragging on and dipping in,
that's a fact.
Dragging along, it's idiotic, because you're going to end up paying the guy more next year after the next defensive tackle deal comes out that breaks the bank. So you pay him now. It's always going to be cheapest to pay him
exactly.
now. That's all I got.
Yeah, exactly. That is literally what I was telling people, Bill, that I've gone back and forth with, that it said, well, hey, you don't have to pay Quinnen because he's still under contract. And I'm like, well, it's better you pay him early, because then what you're going to be doing is dealing with whoever the next, defensive lineman or defensive tackle, the next guy that's really going to set the floor, which is going to be higher than what it is now. Then you're going to have to pay him more than that. So right now, I think outside of Aaron Donald, I think Leonard Williams is getting like $21 million, something like that. I'm thinking right now to sign Quinnen Williams, right, give him 5 years, is probably going to be somewhere between 23 and 25. Well, who knows what the floor can be when the next guy signs that's coming up? It could move up to 27 to 28. Come on, man, just get it done. And not only that,
then everyone will complain, right?
Yeah, and then it sends a good message to your locker room that, hey, if you show up and do what we tell you to do and you play your heart out, you'll be a Jet. If you play with him, then guess what that tells the locker room? We draft you, and we don't give a darn about you, okay? We'll do whatever it takes. We'll trade you before we have to pay you. And then how do you get guys to buy in? He's homegrown talent. Joe Douglas didn't draft him, but he was drafted by the New York Jets. He's been here. So, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
show them the money.
I don't understand why some Jets fans. Yeah. I hope we do. Listen, Bill, I got to slide off.
Yes, sir.
I got to slide off, man. I want to thank you for calling in. You have a good one, all right?
Take care, bro.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 516-029-639, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Again, when you call in, please be patient. We will get to everybody. Okay? Whoo! Man, I've gone back and forth with so many Jets fans about Quinnen Williams. There are people that literally want to trade him instead of paying him. And I'm like, why? What is the point of drafting then if you're not going to give guys second contracts when they perform on the level that he's performed? What's the point, right? We're all about keeping talent around here, especially talent that provides the type of impact that he does. He literally leads the team in sacks. It's him. At one point, I think he finished the year second in sacks amongst interior defensive linemen, but most of the year I think he was first. Come on, we got to keep it rolling. Salutes to all the Savages as well. Larry Coleman, salutes to you. Larry Coleman says, Joe, I'm going to be honest. I know we believe a QB will fix everything, but that's not true, man. We need to build this line and pay Quentin Williams before anything. Take care of your own guys first. And listen, Larry, salutes to you. I want to hear you, all the Savages in the chat. And I hear exactly what you're saying. But we can do both. You can still continue to build the line with the rest of the draft picks that you have. You can pay Quentin Williams. You know, there's all types of ways you can finagle the cap. There's still moves that need to be made, guys that are going to get cut. We can do all of those things. And if you look at this season, okay, we need a quarterback. It will fix a lot of things. You won't have to have the best line in the NFL if you have a quarterback that can decipher things quickly and play on the elite level that Aaron Rodgers plays on. Again, I keep telling people, great quarterback play hides a lot of deficiencies. I'm telling you, a lot of deficiencies. And when you look at the weapons that we have, my goodness, Garrett Wilson, he has the single season rookie receiving record for us already, right? With up and down quarterback play. I'm hearing it. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I don't know if getting Aaron Rodgers is realistic, but I tell you what, if it's on the table, the Jets should absolutely be looking at getting it done. We're going to get back to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Salutes to all the Savages. Keep talking in that chat. Keep going back and forth. I'm going back and forth with you as well. People asking questions. Salutes. Xavier Poe, Larry Coleman, Phenom, Seeing Ghost, everybody. So we're going to get to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to my guy, Val. I'm coming directly to Val, man. Val, salutes to you. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. For those of you that do not know, that man, Val, oh, he's a savage.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, Val's a savage. Salutes, Val. Listen, we're talking about it all tonight, man. Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people don't want him. A lot of people don't want to have anything to do with him. If you were the Jets general manager, man, what is the most that you would give up for him? Would you be interested in acquiring him from the Packers?
All right, Joe. All right, here we go. So, like I said, he is my third option. I say,
okay,
we gotta talk to Lamar Jackson first. We got to see what's going on with Lamar Jackson first. I wouldn't wait until the summertime. My second choice would definitely be Derek Carr. I would see what's going on with Derek Carr. The reason why you want to see those two first is because they're going to give you longevity. You don't want to keep looking for a quarterback every year. So because Aaron Rodgers, and this is the problem with Aaron Rodgers, every time he loses and he gets bounced out, he's talking about retiring. He's been talking about retiring for the past 3 years. So do you trust him to stay here for 2 or 3 years? So, and then we're going to be back in the same situation. So those are my two first. And then for Aaron Rodgers, and what would I try to give up? I would give up I'm not giving up my first round pick for this year. I would give up the 2024 first round pick and then a second pick for this year. That's the most I'm giving up for Aaron Rodgers. If he's my last choice, I will probably give up another pick, probably as well too.
Okay, so wait. So if he's your last choice, in which I understand, and again, Derek Carr is a guy that has to be traded by, I think it's February 15th. So let's do this.
Exactly.
Let's say the Ravens, they figure out some way to work some things out with Lamar Jackson. He's off the table.
Okay.
Derek Carr, you start talking to him, and he says, listen, because for those of you that don't know, he has a no-trade clause. So you come to him, you say, hey, you know, we want to acquire you. What's going on? I don't want to play for the Jets. Don't even bother, right? So you ain't going to get him either. So that's done. right? Don't even think about that. I'm not going to New York. I'm staying somewhere where I want to go and I don't want to go there, right?
South.
So now you're looking at Aaron Rodgers, right? You're looking at Aaron Rodgers, and the only thing that stands between you and, you acquiring him, right? 2 first-round picks and let's say a second-rounder. Are you doing that? Come on.
I mean, listen.
Come on, Val.
I will have to give. I will have to give it up because the
Val
thing
is, y'all hear Val?
See, you got no
I've never
more
heard
option.
Val. I have never heard Val make that sound. He said, I. What is going on? Is your engine starting? What's it, bad alternator valve? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Val's
I have to go and get
Come
it
on,
repaired real quick.
Yeah. He said, Come on, Val. Come on now. Talk to me.
Listen,
2
man,
first-round picks and a second-rounder. Are you doing that?
Wait, sorry. Say that again?
I said 2 first-round picks and a second-rounder. Are you doing it? He's the only option now.
If
That's
he's the
realistic.
only option,
He's the only option.
Because then you're going down to lower tier. You're going to like below average quarterbacks, and I'm not trying to go with the below average quarterbacks. You're going to the Tannehills. You're going to the Mitchell and everything. We have to get that quarterback that could take us over the hump, and I feel like those are the top 3. I feel like that could take us possibly over the hump. So
okay.
I will have to go with. I will have to do it.
Okay. What are you concerned about his price tag? There's a lot of Jets fans that I've had discussions with that go, I wouldn't mind the draft capital. That's fine. I'll give up 2 first-round picks. I'm not tripping about that. But it's that comes with. Again, it depends on who you listen to. Ian Rappaport says $60 million. Would you be willing, or is that a concern for you? $60 million on your cap. There's other people speaking about as well, $48 million combined. But are you concerned about the price tag that he comes with and the effect that it could have continuing to build around him with your cap, being hamstringed with what you're going to have to pay him?
How long is the contract? Is it 3 years? I think he's got on the contract.
Yeah, but I believe I know that they signed. Yes, it's like over 3. The next 3 years. Yeah, and I think he makes like an average. For what we looked at, the average was $50 million per, pretty much. I think it's 48, like 0.3 combined with some stuff, but he's got like bonuses and clauses and all kinds of stuff. So initially it was reported $50 million per year is basically what they're saying.
Yeah, I will have to do it because the thing is, like I said, quarterback over. Obviously we can't draft with no quarterbacks. Every time a quarterback is on our reach, we turn the other cheek and then we just get the wrong quarterback. So I feel like we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to go that route. And I'm not huge on Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you, man. But it's just like,
okay,
if we're gonna have to get that quarterback play, that possibly MVP type of quarterback and stuff like that. And, I would say we have to do it and stuff. But, yeah, because if you're saying it's 3 years, our rookies will become up for contracts around that time. So then we could get rid of Aaron Rodgers around that time and then hopefully find a new quarterback around that time, too, if he doesn't retire in the very next year of us getting him, because he's always plotting of, thinking about retiring after every year and stuff.
Well, so yeah, I think
that's my concern.
The talk about retiring could just be to, get out of Green Bay or move forward. We all know that, there's a lot of things that goes on with him. But I look at the situation, and I've spoken about this to multiple, Jets fans. And again, we've been going back and forth all night. And I'm just, 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers, I'm doing it. And that's the option there. Again, Lamar Jackson, there's been a lot of signs that are pointing to him being able to work out something with the Ravens. They've already come out and talked about how he's going to be included in the discussion when it comes to, he'll be included in the discussion when it comes to the next offensive coordinator. Huh?
I said, do you see what division they're in?
Yeah, but I mean, without him, oh man, like without him, they're in big trouble. So I think that they're going to probably get something done. Honestly, the most likely candidates to either be traded or not be on the team anymore, move on from, is probably going to be Carr and Aaron Rodgers. And I love Carr. I do. I think that he's good. I think he's a lot better than what people are saying. Again, I'm here on the West Coast. I've watched these guys. There's been a lot of stuff, but I tell you, if you can get Aaron Rodgers, even if it's just for 2 years, if you can get him, and that's the guy, I'm grabbing him, man. I'm grabbing him because
Joe, do you feel like he can get us to a Super Bowl in 2 years? Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll answer that in a second.
Given the history
right now, yes.
of him getting bounced out for the first and second round. Okay.
Yes. We have the number 4. I think we had we had the 4th defense overall in the league this year. Look at our games. Like, how many games did we come into and people said, you're going to get blown out?
We're not losing 6 in a row.
There was a lot of games earlier this year. Remember, Val? You're going to get blown out. Yeah, what would you say?
I said we are not losing 6 games in a row with Aaron Rodgers. That is not happening.
I'm just that's what I'm saying. So it's a lot of things. Again, this year there were so many games we were coming into. Remember, we were supposed to get blown out, and our defense just held us in. Earlier this year, people were like, whoa, this Jets defense is really good. And they just continued to get better. But they would get gassed because they was on the field all game long. And like you said just now, and I was just about to bring that up. That's what I'm saying. You bring good takes. If Aaron Rodgers is on this roster, there is no way we lose 6 games in a row because our offense can't produce. There's no way we go 31 possessions without a touchdown. There's no way we go 3 games at the end of the year without scoring a touchdown. There's no way we struggle early in games to put points on the board as well with Aaron Rodgers as a starting quarterback of the New York Jets. And all of those things would have equaled to wins. All of them. All of it.
And Joe, on top of that, how many opportunities the defense gave the offense? So many opportunities. And we did not come through. That's why I couldn't blame the defense at the end of the season. They were so burnt out. They've been on the field all 17 games. They kept teams that were scoring high to a low scoring game. Even the Bengals game wasn't even that high, and they kept them a low scoring game as well too. I'm just like, man. Even the Bills couldn't even score a high. Couldn't even get to the 30 points or high 27. They couldn't even get to 27 points. They only stayed like 20 or 19 points or something like that.
It was 20
the defense
points.
did really good.
They had 20 points each game. We were in so many games. It was ridiculous. And we faced teams this year. We faced teams this year that had high flying offenses. Detroit, one of the better offenses in the league, 20-17. That's how we lost. Not 42-17. Not 50-17. It was 20-17. That's how we lost. Okay, that's how we lost.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
So many games this year. Minnesota, one of the better teams in the regular season this year, had one of the better offenses. 27-22. That's how we lost. Not 47, not 57-22. 27. We were in all of these games. Look
all
at those
of the
Patriots games.
My
quarterback,
God!
all of the games. That was what that's
those games. Those games were wins for us. Wins. It was just a quarterback play. I was like, my God! If we had Breece Hall in that game, and I just felt so bad because if Breece Hall and AVT was in those games, we would have definitely win those games, man. But I was just all we was missing was a quarterback. That's why I said we're not losing 6 games in a row with Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr or definitely not no Lamar Jackson. That's why I said we need to get those type of quarterbacks in here by any means.
If we have Aaron Rodgers, we win those 2 Patriots games. Easy. We win those 2 games.
We're in the playoffs.
We lost one. We're in the playoffs. This is what I'm saying.
Matter of fact, we're number 1. We're number 1 in the division too. By the way, too. If we win those games,
I'm telling you. It's look, and I get it. And again, I know we're talking pipe dreams and we're discussing. We're going to continue to have discussions throughout the rest of this offseason about this team. And look, I've talked about the realistic possibilities. It's realistic for us to make the move for Aaron Rodgers, and I just do not understand why some Jets, even if it's a 2-year rental, because guess what? In those 2 years, we could possibly win a Super Bowl. And I will take that. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
Joe.
Because we haven't won one since the 60s. Okay? We haven't been in the playoffs in 12 years. We haven't been in the playoffs in 12 years.
I was going to go the playoff
12.
route, but you went the championship route. Yeah, it's been a drought.
I went straight there.
It's been a huge drought.
Yeah.
You went straight to the 60s. Oh, man.
I went.
Man, I was going to say we
there.
haven't been to the playoffs in 12, but, oh, man, all right. You want to swing to the 60s.
Val,
Here we go.
I'm going straight there. You get Aaron Rodgers on this squad? Are you crazy? That immediately puts us in go mode. Foot on gas, I'm driving fast, okay? Yeah. This is why I don't understand how Jets fans – and I understand the implications on the cap. And we'll get to the callers. I see y'all. I'm going to come to y'all in a second. But me and Val, we vibe. Listen, I get it.
Yes, sir.
But you get Aaron Rodgers, okay, and things change tremendously here. And, again, we have weapons that we're succeeding with up and down quarterback play. Think about how much more deadly we become as an offense with Garrett Wilson, now with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football. With Elijah Moore actually being able to get the football now. Oh, my goodness. The tight end usage. C.J. Uzomah turns back into the guy that we thought we were getting, right? Because now you got a guy that can read fast, that understands defenses. Yeah, the running game improves as well. My God. You can't stack the box anymore and just say, okay, we'll stop Brees and go ahead and throw all-out blitz at Aaron Rodgers.
You can't beat us like that no more. Not at all. Bruh. That's how every team seen that Patriots game, and the Detroit Jaguars, Seahawks all did the same thing. Stack that box and let the quarterback be the quarterback, and that's what failed us this year.
Fact.
When Belichick figured this out. Soon as ABT and Brees Hall was going out of the picture, we collapsed. We did not know how to adjust at all.
Fact.
That's what happened to us this year. We got exposed.
Yes, because the quarterback play was so bad. Zach Early lost the game running backwards in Denver. Unbelievable. 2 Patriots games. Unbelievable. Right? Because he can't understand how to run a functional offense. The quarterback play was bad. It's been the same game plan from the start. And, again, you bring in Aaron Rodgers. Guess who can mentor that out of Zach Wilson? Aaron Rodgers. If you can't learn under Aaron Rodgers.
Is Zach Wilson still going to be here, though? With that $20 million?
He's still going to be here.
And we have to pay Aaron Rodgers?
They're not going to cut him. Right now, from where I stand, and this is going to be the last word because I got other callers, Val, and I want to get to them as well. Listen, he's going to be here. He's going to be here. He may not be the starter. At this point, we're sitting here right now, the way I'm looking around with all the options we got, I don't think he's a starter, but they're not going to trade him and they're not going to cut him. I don't think they will because if they do that, first off, Joe Douglas is going to get a hard, people are going to start looking at him like crazy, like, hey, this is the guy you took off. But every single thing that they said about him, they're going to coach him through hell or high water. That's directly from Sulla. If they wanted to move on from him, they would have made it clear. Mike LaFleur came out and said things before they moved on from him that I think were to show the picture or starting to kind of look at the what they're probably going to do with him, and that's sit him behind a veteran because that's what they said. That's what Mike LaFleur said. He would have benefited sitting behind a veteran. That's why they sat him the first time to get the reset behind Mike. Listen, to reset a quarterback, and I know and I get it, right? It takes a lot longer than 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. It takes a long time to reset quarterbacks. You have to work out his mechanics. You got to think he's been throwing like that for a long time, for his whole life. His inability to read defenses, the changing into the NFL, he's been doing stuff like that his whole life. It takes a long time to coach that out of a guy. If he's going to be here, which I believe he will be here next season, it's going to be behind a veteran quarterback if the Jets can make it happen. And if it's not one of the 3, I believe they'll bring back Mike White if need be, right? But he's going to be here.
I'll bring back Mike
White he's going to be a backup from what we're sitting right now. So, listen, Val, I got to get to these callers, man. You already know me. You go back and forth. Thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, Val.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say real quick, congratulations to Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner. Y'all definitely deserve it. You was hard on Sauce Gardner at first because you was like, listen, this better be the guy. This better be the guy if you're going to pick him this high. He showed it. But all right.
I absolutely was, Val. You have a good one. Listen, I was. Val, speaking facts, I was. I was like, hey, man, this guy better be the guy, and he was the guy. So we'll keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. Again, we're coming up short on time, but we have more than enough time for the callers. Next, I'm going to my guy from North Carolina. I'm coming directly to you. Dwayne will come to you in a second. Don't worry, other callers as well. Salutes to you, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, we're talking about it all. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going back and forth with people about Mike LaFleur. What are your thoughts about the possibility of the New York Jets trading for Aaron Rodgers? And if you're the Jets general manager, would you be willing to give up 2 firsts and maybe some more picks for him?
Oh, how you doing, Joe? It's so great to be able to get through to you tonight. Pretty good. So far, so good. Enjoying my last night of rest. Well, I got to get back to work tomorrow, so.
All right.
So far,
Salute.
so good.
Get that money. Get that money. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, I've been thinking about this situation. It's very distressing for me because, you know, I'm an older Jet fan. I've been in this a long time. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks come and go. And I'm just hoping that we can pull the trigger on one of these quarterbacks and try to save Joe Douglas's job. Because now we're hearing, you know, you never know what's real and what's true. Because I don't want to see Joe Douglas pushed out of the door because I think he's done such an exceptional job of rebuilding this franchise. I think he's probably my favorite general manager of all time. You know, his body of work speaks for itself. It's been very good, and hopefully we can get something done with Rodgers because I think having him as a member of the New York Jets has its benefits, no doubt about it. You know, him being a veteran, and there's a possibility that he can help us on different fronts. Maybe get to Zach and talk to him, and maybe somebody he'll finally listen to and try to get his head together. Because most of what's wrong with Zach Wilson is mental. He needs to really, really clear his head and get his mind together. And I think it's kind of a culture shock coming to New York and dealing with the rabid fan base. I don't think he fully understood what he was getting into, to the base that's hungry to win. And then him being young, he looks young, and obviously he's going to act young, you know, being just a kid. Basically, he's not ready for what for the undertaking of being the Jets quarterback. I think he should have been redshirted 2 years and then, you know, brought along more slowly. Hopefully, we can acquire Aaron Rodgers and he can help him with his, I guess, that maturation process, or help him to take that next step in his career. I figure 2 first-round picks is probably about right. But now you start talking about a third and maybe adding some additional picks, I'm not sure. That price is kind of high because when I spoke to you last time, I talked about our cap flexibility, and we're not going to have a ton of salary cap like we had in years past. Well, we had 80, 70, 80, 100 million in cap when Izek was our GM. But over the years, we have managed our salary cap very well. This time around, we're not going to have all that flexibility, so we have to be careful. With little draft picks we do have. We can't give up all our draft. I'm willing to give up the 2 first-round picks, the 13 this year, which has value, and maybe a first round next year, and that's it. Let me keep all my other picks, and hopefully, I don't know what the comp formula is for Joe Douglas, but I imagine we're going to lose some people. Hopefully, we can get some compensatory pick, maybe mid-round compensatory pick, and hopefully all that together will still be more than enough to add the additional pieces to this team. I feel we're very close to being able to make a run for a Super Bowl. If we can upgrade the line, get our franchise quarterback, get us a run-stuffing, massive Haloti Ngata type defensive tackle, and get us a safety, a Jordan Battle, or Brian Branch, to bolster the back end of the Jet defensive secondary, I think that's it. And I think just getting some people healthy, you know, Vera Tucker, Becton, the regular culprits, we can get those people healthy. Breece Hall, notably, we can get those people back on the field and just get this thing lined up. I've been hoping we can line all these pieces up, you know, get the quarterback, keep our team healthy, and then we'd be formidable, you know, strong enough to actually match up with these top-tier teams and give them all they can handle. Now, getting Aaron Rodgers, I think, would put us in that position, even though I have to admit he's a little older, you know.
Yeah, listen, and I hear exactly what you're saying. I would have no issue giving up more than 2 first-rounders for Aaron Rodgers at all. Even if they want some picks in that next draft, a second or second round pick or a third or a fourth or whatever, I have no issues doing that whatsoever, because I think we have all the other pieces that we need, especially with guys coming back healthy. And I think what he does here, and I've talked about it all night, great quarterbacks hide deficiencies. That's how they become great.
Yes.
Right? Because
That's
if you
right.
pay quarterbacks in this league, and there's a lot of people, don't necessarily think about this. As you pay quarterbacks in this league, it makes it hard for you to build your football team. That's why guys, like Patrick Mahomes, all these guys, they make so much money. It's hard you have to draft well, you have to do this, but you're not always going to hit. But their ability, because they have the ball in their hands all game, right? As a quarterback, you're going to be the guy. You under center, you take that hike. You can lose a game with great quarterback play or bad quarterback play, You can also win a game based off of great quarterback play, too. So because of the impact that they have on the game, they can hide deficiencies. I talked about it. Tom Brady, he had deficiencies with the Patriots. And when he left, you saw all of this glaringly along that offense. The same thing when you see Patrick Mahomes leave a game. There's deficiencies. They changed their offense completely. Andy Reid did that beautifully in the game when he went out with the ankle. But they weren't running the same type of offensive style that they would if Patrick Mahomes was in there. They started running the ball more.
That's right.
Their quarterback took care of the ball. So you see these things and guys go down. But I tell you what, the type of impact that Aaron Rodgers would have here, again, even if it's 2 years, right? He's old. He's a lot older, yes, but he's still an elite quarterback in this league. I'll take that. 2 first-round picks. You can give me that. Now, we're getting short on time. So
I would like to say this, too, before I have to go.
Go ahead.
Hopefully, if Aaron Rodgers does decide to come to this market, I hope the media will give him the courtesy and at least give him a honeymoon period of the first year with us and be on their best behavior. Because I remember back in the day, the Joe DiMaggio, the Babe Ruth, the Lou Gehrig, the media honored. They had a relationship with them players, and they used to honor and respect them. Nowadays, the media don't care. It's all about getting their story out there, getting a scoop, getting ratings, and getting money in their pocket. Hopefully, they will give the courtesy and respect to Aaron Rodgers. That's a big, big concern. Him coming from Green Bay, that's a big jump coming to New York and dealing with this media base thing, I'm from New York, so I used to read the New York Post and New York Daily News, and it's pretty rough there. You could take players of his caliber. Reggie Jackson left Oakland and came to New York Yankees. He was under a lot of scrutiny because he got the big contract with George Steinbrenner. There was a lot of expectation on him to perform at a high level, and the same expectation will be on Aaron Rodgers. I just keep my fingers crossed that he still has something left in the tank and give us at least 3 good years. The best case scenario is he gives us 3 excellent years, and then between that time, Zach Wilson will finally snap out of it. Whatever's wrong with this kid mentally, he will snap out of it and be ready to take the reins from Aaron. And that's, I think, the last thing I'd like to say to you before I had to go.
Yeah, listen, I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man, all right?
Oh,
all right,
yeah,
you have a good one. Listen, we're going to keep getting to these lines, 515-602. Next, we're going to Dwayne. Dwayne, I'm coming directly to you. It's going to be our last caller of the night. We're getting short on time. Dwayne salutes. I've been talking about a lot of different things tonight. We talked about Elijah Moore, blow up with Mike LaFleur. We've been talking about the guys that have come in for interviews, and we've also been discussing Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people against it, some people for it. What say you? Where do you stand? If you're the Jets general manager, would you give up 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers? Give me your take.
Let me first apologize for not being definitive. Just like the Lamar Jackson conversation we had, I have objections, right? So, okay, Lamar Jackson, it was his health. Aaron Rodgers, it's the time he's going to give us. I don't think he's going to give us more than 2 years. So to mortgage your future, I would say, for 2 first-round picks for 2 years. Are you telling me we're going to win a Super Bowl in 2 years?
That puts us a lot closer. That puts us a lot closer winning a Super Bowl than we would be without him. Because what are your other options? Let's say again, and I love Lamar Jackson. You do as well. We've talked about him. It looks like he's going to stay with the Ravens at this point. They're already saying that he's going to be in talks with them for who their next offensive coordinator is going to be, which tells you they're going to strap themselves to him for however long. Carr, we'll see what happens with him, but he has a no-trade clause. Maybe he don't want to come here. Maybe they want to send him somewhere else so that he's not in the AFC. That could be realistic as well for the Raiders. The Packers, on the other hand, there's strong intent on them moving Aaron Rodgers, from what we're hearing. And there's also rumors swirling that they don't want him in the NFC. So when you look at the AFC, we're one of the bigger teams in need of a quarterback here, and we have the capital. And I get, 2 first-round picks, but we've blown through multiple first-round picks trying to find somebody to be our Aaron Rodgers. We already tried that. We tried it with Sam Darnold. It didn't work out here. We tried it with Zach Wilson. It ain't working out here. Right? We've blown other draft capital. Christian Hackenberg was just second-round pick. That was the worst. I don't even want to get into that. That was the worst second-round pick ever. I'm so glad Mike McCagnon got fired. We tried it with other guys as well that did not work out here, right? So when you talk about draft capital, 2 first-round picks for elite quarterback play, if we had elite quarterback play this year, we would easily have been in the playoffs. Easily. If we had elite quarterback play this year, you could argue that the New York Jets would be a Super Bowl contender. We have the fourth best overall defense. You look at the losses that we incurred. It's not like we were getting smoked in every game. No, we were in every single game, all of them, pretty much, right? Even the games people literally said, you're going to get blown out. You guys get killed. No. We went to that Packers game. They didn't kill us. You look at we lost to the Vikings. I think it was 27-22. They had one of the best offenses in the league. They didn't kill us. Nobody killed us. Our offense is what killed us. Zach Wilson is what killed us. Mike LaFleur is what killed us. So when you look at all the weapons that we have as well offensively, look how good Garrett Wilson was with the quarterback play as up and down as you could get. Look at Elijah Moore and the talent, the running game there. Everything changes when you bring him in. You can't defend the Jets the exact same way. You can't. You can stack the box if you want to against Aaron Rodgers, and that'll be a 67-yard touchdown for Garrett Wilson. Go ahead and do it. Please.
Let me give a few more negatives.
Everything. Go ahead. I'll give you the final word on that because we're short on time. But I'll give you the final word. I'm all in if Aaron. I'm just being clear. Go ahead.
Let me just give you a few more negatives before I tell you why Aaron Rodgers is the perfect quarterback. A few more negatives. My issue with Jets fans. Mike LaFleur was my guy. So another problem is we're almost building again because we don't have that coordinator. We don't have anything definitive for us to invest in a quarterback like that. But here's why Aaron Rodgers is the perfect quarterback. If his contract is big and he only gives us 2 years, by the time he's done, we'll be ready to pay Garrett Wilson and everybody else we pay. Zach is going to learn behind Aaron Rodgers. That's another perfect thing, right? We're being put in playoff. We're going to get playoff experience. That's another perfect thing. So by the time Zach is ready, and it has to be Zach because we're probably not going to be in position for a first-round high-pick quarterback again for a little while. By the time Zach is ready, we're going to be able to pay him. We're going to be able to pay Garrett. We're going to be able to pay everybody we need. The only issue is, how is our offensive line going to look? Because that could be a complaint. You know what I'm saying?
But you can use the other capital that you have to build. You can use the capital that you have left. We're not blowing out whole drafts. You can still use the capital to build.
And he knew Matt. He knows Matt's system, so he can bring some of that in as well, too. Similar offensive coordinator. I mean, it's damn near perfect. I'm a little objective about the 2 first, but if there was a time to gamble, maybe it's now.
Now's the time. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you something. I got the dice in my hand and I'm rolling, baby. Okay? I'm throwing them on the table. Give me a deck of cards. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing. All right, I'm going to be the dealer. Yeah, if it's a time to go out and make something happen, you make something happen. And I'm telling you, we're right there. We're closer now than we've ever been. That's a fact. It's a championship defense, and everybody knows it. So if you're going to go if you're going to go big game hunting and you want to solve your issue at quarterback, you better make it happen. So before I let you go, Dwayne, because we're short on time, I got a couple minutes left, but I want to get your thoughts on this quickly. My final question. What are your thoughts about Sauce Gardner being awarded the NFL Rookie of the Year and the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year by the Pro Football Writers?
He didn't play like a rookie, so he belongs in the Pro Bowl. And when you do that and you're possibly the top at your position, at a valuable position, you deserve Rookie of the Year. Also, I do want to say before I go, Brady and Monken. I forget his first name, but Brady that was in Carolina.
Tom
Monken is my guy. Yeah, Tom Monken.
Okay.
And
Joe Brady and Tom Monken. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Brady. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys kind of sold me on Aaron, man.
Yeah. I'm just the guy up here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the guy up here. But I got to slide off. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, Dwayne. I want to hear from you on the next show a little bit earlier, all right, my friend?
I got you, man. Great show as always.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a good one. All right. We're going to continue quickly. We're going to get a final take here. I think this is 202. We're going to come directly to you. Before I got to go, quickly, give me your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, my friend. Give me your name, where you're from. Give me your thoughts on the Jets possibly acquiring Aaron Rodgers. Are you for it or against it?
I'm so against it. And I'm sorry earlier I take myself off mute, and I know you got to go, and I wanted to come back when you were talking about this earlier. Sorry, I have my own show to do, but I just wanted to say no. I think it's a horrible idea. But let me just say this to you real quick. Thank you for the show. Thank you for being a Jets fan. Thank you for doing a show like this.
Absolutely.
But the reason why I say no, the Jets' problems are not with quarterbacks. We need to stop hiring defensive coaches. The last 3, we've had all defensive coaches. We need an offensive-minded coach who's really good. We need a Belichick type. Even with Belichick dealing with with a horrible quarterback, still got those guys, far enough in the season to at least look like they had a shot. But we needed an offensive-minded coach. We don't have one. Woody Johnson won't hire one. I hate these defensive. Even though I like Robert, I don't like defensive coaches for Jets, and it's been a mainstay for too many years. And you know it. I don't have to tell you.
Well, listen. I hear you. What is your name again, my friend? I apologize.
It's Reese. Reese on the radio. Everybody calls me Reese on the radio.
Listen, Reese, I gotta go because I'm getting really short on time. I understand your perspective. I don't necessarily understand. I don't necessarily agree. Right? I think the seller has done a lot of phenomenal things here, but our issues is when you look at what Zach Wilson did this year, it was horrific, right? Missing guys, wide open guys. We've had issues offensively. I think you can have a defensive guy as long as he brings in the right personnel, or as long as the right personnel is in place and the right coaches are in place, right? I thought Mike LaFleur might have got scapegoated a bit, but still and yet we're sitting here, and I think that getting Aaron Rodgers in here would improve that. But I got to go, Reese, because we're getting ready to shut down right now. Next time I have a show, which is it's probably going to be next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Listen, Reese, subscribe. I want to hear from you because I want to hear your perspective, all right?
Thank you, boss.
All right, thank you. Listen, we got to go. All right, we're about to shut the show down. They hate on me. They about to shut me down. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, we need some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well, at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe Show. All right? Go ahead on Twitter. Type that in. Follow. I'll follow you right back. Don't troll me. No issues under the bridge. I'm the troll that has my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times, all right? Fight on. I'm also on YouTube as well, okay? Go on over to YouTube, all right? Type in Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, okay? Subscribe, hit that notification bell. You want to troll me, it's right in the comments. We'll go back and forth. And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to call in and listen to the show. Interact with your boy any way that you do. You folks are the absolute greatest. Have a good one. Peace.